In a previous episode, I talked about productivity and I drew a little bit of a circle and the three circles like that. And the whole idea of this third circle was how could we make people more productive by knowing the use case stories, the impact, the critical events that they provided. What I'm going to talk about in this episode is what is the model? How do we actually do that? Now, what we found over the years, and like in sales, that we generally run of 100 times 5 model. Now, what do I mean with 100 times 5? This 100 was 100% of a trainer-based concept spread across 4 to 5 years. In general, these 100% were 2 days SKOs in which people were taught during those 2 days. If I did it times 4 to 5 years, I came up with 8 to 10 days of total education across those 4 to 5 years. And this was the model repetitively used, and for those who were like for several years or several jobs, let's say they had 4 to 5 jobs of experience, that put them like deeply 20 years of experience with lots of SKOs. And every SKO something new was taught, and they became an enterprise rep. What I depicted in the earlier video is, what if I have a rep that needs to be productive in 12 to 18 months, and that is somewhere in the mid-20s, mid-30s, that doesn't have 20 years of experience, and I don't have time for that? How do I get that rep to have, in 3 to 6 months worth time frame, 10 years of experience? How do I do that? We're not the first to run into that problem. We are probably one of the last ones to run into that problem, or actually ready for the solution of that problem. What this is we need to get rid of this 2-day sales kickoff moment. We need to stop thinking about that is a way to educate people. And instead, what we need to start thinking about is what is called the 10-20-70 model. Now, 10-20-70, these are percentages, and each one of these percentages represents something. The 10% is essentially classroom style training. Okay, the 20% relates to how do we interact with each other, role play, learning it in an experience, in a sparring way, and the 70% is in real life, in a real life scenario. How would we do that? These 10, 20, 70 indicate how much percentages are assigned to it. Where previously, during the sales kickoff, most of that was done 100% in a training style, running down slideshows, 500, 600 slides across 2 days. We know that today that doesn't work anymore. We still need it, 10% classroom. That classroom model has shifted to more of a whiteboard kind of experience, the one that you're currently experiencing down here. I'm explaining this step by step. 10% is classroom. The remaining 20%, or the next 20%, is in role play, me actually exercising it with you. Not with the intent to slam you down, as previously during many of these sales kickoffs were experienced, when like somebody role played, it felt like that the teacher wanted to prove something, how bad they were, in order to create this tension from where you are to where you're at. Today, these role plays are more like practicing, and they're setting the stage for the entire group to experience. These role plays are very much driven on one-to-one, but also one-to-many. For example, the use of video will allow for that. And then in real life, through call recording and call reviewing technologies, we're now seeing that the in real life practice can be taken back to the office and reviewed. What happened in real life, where previously a boss, a peer needed to sit next to you. This is the new model that we are seeing that can drive productivity and that can help us to become effective and efficient in 3 to 6 months, rather than the old model, which was primarily aimed at, at as many as 4 or 5 years, up to 10 years to gain that experience. If I want my employees to, within 3 to 6 months, achieve a level of productivity what otherwise would take years, I need to adhere to the 10-20-70 model. The kicker of this is, people, the absolute necessity is, this doesn't happen 2 days a year. This happens 365 days a year. In other words, training is always and ongoing. That means that even for a firm like us, we cannot do that for you. We cannot be there 365. And so what you have to do is embrace that if you want a productive sales force, that in the end, your company is responsible for 365 years of nurturing, development, learning and development of your team. What we started to do, as you can have seen and recognized, we started to put some of this content with 3 to 4 videos every week on YouTube to create that level of experience there for you. We still believe that this is inherently your company's responsibility. Train and develop these people for along a 365 cycle. This 10-20-70 model is the right model. And what you can see in our world, we have a few of these channels. This is our channel with sales skills, and this is our role play channel, where you can look up on YouTube and see some of these experiences. This, you will see some of the discovery call and demo call reviews and how can you set in particular and follow what we call a framework down here. Now, the key to this framework that you follow down here is that it was taught in the classroom, practiced it before that framework was executed in real life. So when you listen to a call and you review a call with one of your peers or one of your team members, that it's not your opinion that speaks. I think you started the call wrong. That's an opinion. But if I said it took you 3 minutes to get to the social chat and to kick off the call, now I'm starting to understand, like, hey, actually there's a framework. Keep the chit chat to a minimal point on a 30-minute call. Let's keep it within like 2 minutes. Therefore, if you're at 3 minutes, it's too long. Now it's no longer an opinion, it follows a framework. Now, if you then deviate from that framework, perfectly fine. You says, oh, this was a new person, I wanted to establish a relationship with him, so I took my time a little bit more. Perfect, you made the right call. But if this is a 15, like you've already spoken to this person, this is a real call that needed to progress, why are we talking for 8 minutes about the best basketball team in the US right now? Why would that benefit anything on the call? You already have a personal relationship. The framework says, keep it to 2 minutes, you got 8 minutes out of this. Classroom training on a whiteboard. Role play, one-to-one or one-to-many, where you do it in a group setting. And in real life, reviewing those frameworks, reviewing calls against the framework that we practiced and that we taught. That is the key to getting, in 3 to 6 months, people to have experience as if they were for the company 5 to 10 years.